back to the channel. It's Errol with Passion to Profit. And in today's video, we're going to go over a few things that some people did want me to go over. The market's been really slow all of April. I know we're just coming off of a really hot market, October, November, December, January. We had all of the hype just around the market. Small cap stocks are going kind of crazy. There were so many opportunities. You probably realized coming into March, now coming into April, the market has drastically slowed down. And this is what we call a market cycle. If you track statistics or if you pay attention overall, you will notice the hot seasons and the slower seasons. We were just kind of spoiled to be getting so many stocks doing so many different type of things, offering so much opportunity everywhere with just everything going on in the market this past year. Now we're heading into that market cycle where it's actually slowing down, and then it's going to pick back up, then it's going to slow down, and then it's going to pick back up. But right now I want to talk about BTX because we haven't had any type of move like this in quite some time, a few weeks really. Sometimes we would wake up and on the gap scanner, the highest one day was like 8%. And I was like, I need to go back to bed. And then the next day I'll wake up, it's like 15% is the highest gapper. And then they're just failing out the morning and just not doing anything for the rest of the day. And that was just letting us know we're heading into a slower market. But today BTX made a run. It wasn't its first day run. And I like to start on the larger time frame. And if we go back, we can see it's 5th consecutive green day. Will tomorrow be a green day? I don't know. Will they be more of a short squeeze tomorrow? I don't know. We will just have to wait till the pre-market and wait till market open. But one thing I want to bring to your attention, let's just talk about the overall market sentiment right now. What did we just talk about? There were so many plays, right, in October, November, December, January, even February. And now we're not getting anything. And if there's no setups, nobody's making money, right? The longs aren't really making money. The shorts aren't really making money. And what kind of emotion does that stir up with when there's no trading going on? Some people start to get impatient. They start feeling FOMO. They might even start trading stocks that they shouldn't even be trading. It's not even a stock or a setup they typically trade, right? But when the market is super slow, people tend to break their discipline, right? And when people tend to break their discipline, that's where you can take advantage of opportunity. And one thing you will start to recognize once you're in the market a lot more, when the market really slows down, you will start to see short squeezes on stocks out of nowhere. Because what happens with the short sellers, when the short sellers get so impatient, they will start shorting something that has no resistance, something that's a low float, and pretty much only shorting a stock just because it's up maybe 50, 60, 70%, even 30%. I was seeing in some chat rooms, people are shorting anything that's popping up just because of how dead the market is. And usually when that works one time for someone, that can create a bad habit, and they will start to short stocks that they shouldn't be shorting things with no resistance. And today, some short sellers got caught off guard and had to pay the price. But let's evaluate this stock and see what was going on in the past 5 days. Let me zoom back out to the larger time frame. We can see we have about 13 million volume this day, 18 this day, about 2 million this day, 16 million this day, and then we had 53 million volume traded on this day. And 53 million volume is pretty decent. That's a solid amount of volume traded. And some people might be like, well, 53, 54 million volumes, really not that much. I just saw these other stocks trading 100 million volume, 150 million volume, 80 million volume. But let me tell you why 53 million volume is significant for BTX. Let's just come right over here to stocks to trade real quick, just so we can see the criteria for BTX. If we look down here, okay, we have a 1.7 billion market cap, which isn't too great for short sellers anyways. A larger market cap is usually better to dip buy for longs and things like that. I'm not saying it can't go down and you can't make money shorting it, but lower market caps are a little better for short sellers. And the float is 1.7 million. That's a tiny float. That's a low float stock, right? A 5 million float's pretty low, 6, 7, 8. Anything 10 million and below is fairly low, and I think you can consider a low float stock. Now, a float beneath 2 million, that's a very small float, right? I personally don't even touch anything on the short side if it's under a 2 million float. It's not even worth it to me. Even if the stock goes my way or the pattern sets up or whatever the case might be, I'd rather stay disciplined and not play with fire and touch anything with such a low supply, right? So, and again, if you're not aware, the float is the supply of shares available to the public to be traded. So if we have a low amount of shares, a low supply, if we get that volume, which is the demand, right, that can really spike the stock price because there's such a low supply and demand. So now that we can consider 1.7 million, that is a significant number traded on the day. 53 million shares traded today. And you can see the stock is spiking to $54 at its highs. And today it opened up around $22. So this is a significant move. And now let me just point out some of the key areas that you kind of want to look out for. So let's just evaluate BTX now. I'm going to go back on this daily chart again. One thing I do like to do, if there's a multi-day run like this, I tend to put lines at the 52-week highs or at the previous day's highs, just to see if they'll act as some sort of support. So now that I put a line at yesterday's high, now I'm going to bring this back to the 5-day, 5-minute chart. We're going to zoom back in. And you can see that line played some sort of role in today, right? Yesterday's high, it consolidated, it held, and then it broke through. And I can probably tell the short sellers' stop losses or majority is going to be at that day high right here. So they're getting squeezed out of the stock. So first thing you want to do when you're trying to break down a stock, you want to zoom out, look at the bigger picture. What levels might longs be looking at? What levels might short sellers be looking at? And then evaluate from there. So now yesterday's highs acting as some sort of support. If you're a short seller, which you shouldn't really be shorting this anyways, I'm not telling you what to do, but it is a risky type of stock to try and short. I don't see any edge in shorting this other than the fact that it's been running for multiple days. But again, I will tell you, if you're a short seller, you can't just short something because it's been running up or it's up 100% or up 200%. That's not an edge. But after it breaks this previous high, I can assume some short sellers were stuck in here, got squeezed out. You're not just trading by yourself. You have to understand the candles don't move just because the market is moving the candles, right? There's human beings putting in orders, moving these prices. So when the price breaks these certain levels, you will see some type of emotional reaction. So we break through. Now we can see we're holding it now. We're holding, makes another high, holding, comes back down, holds this level again, holds this level again, holds this level again, holds this level again. So if I zoom in right here, if I'm a short seller, I'm going to be nervous. I'm going to be extremely nervous. This stock isn't breaking down. Maybe it's something you know you shouldn't be shorting in the first place. It's a low float. Volume is coming in. The float's rotating. All these bullish factors and short sellers might be in here. So if you're a long, how can you take advantage of something like this? Right? Now that we know the short sellers might be risking the high, which they do almost every time because that could be one of the safest points to risk. What's happening with the psychology of a lot of these short sellers, once they see it holding, they get really nervous. And then right around this point, it turns into a game of last one to cover their shares gets the worst exit. Once short sellers pile in at a certain level and it keeps holding, now the short seller's mindset is going to switch to, okay, I need to cover before these other short sellers cover before I get a bad exit. Because when a short seller covers their shares, they have to buy back their shares. And when a short seller buys back their shares, it causes a buying pressure. So imagine a bunch of short sellers covering their shares at the same time because they see the stock is not breaking down and it's a low float, right? And they're nervous. You as a long, you can understand these things and understand, okay, if it breaks this high, it doesn't have to, but there's a chance we could get a move above, knowing the fact that this is a low float and this is a level that short sellers might have been piling in and it's been holding. So those are some things you can take into account and try to understand. But that's BTX. I just wanted to point that out. Low floats, if you're a short seller, I would stay away from that. And again, short squeezes, as long as you can take advantage of them. You just want to be careful with getting faked out and things like that. But short sellers, keep yourself safe. Be patient. Don't break your discipline. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth to take a trade. Like, we're not trading to just have fun. We're not trading to trade. We're trading to try and be as efficient as possible. We're trying to be traders, right? But I'm just going to bring up a couple more stocks. That's kind of it for BTX. I know I was talking kind of fast, went on like a little quick rant, but AHT, we had a little bit of movement, not as much liquidity, but we're seeing some movement in the market. We also had UXIN. That made a little bit of a run today. And again, this is just nice to finally see after such slow weeks in the market this April. Hopefully BTX, these low float stocks, hopefully these squeezes will bring a little bit more momentum back into the market. But if not, just be patient. The market will come back. The setups will be there. The market's not going anywhere. And this time when the market's a little bit slower and there's not as many setups, this is a perfect time for you to go study and go study the past and go study your past trades. Take advantage of that time because all the work in trading is done outside of actually trading. When it's time to trade and you open your laptop, that's time to execute. It's not time to let me figure out where should I enter, where should I exit. You should already have that planned out before you opened your computer that morning. So all the work for trading is done when the market is closed. Keep that in mind. Hopefully we get some runners again. This was kind of a random video, but I thought maybe some people can learn some things. One thing I want to bring up real quick is if you sign up for this link, put your email in. The giveaway is still going on. And again, if you weren't aware, you will either get the free t-shirt or the annual print subscription of Luckbox. And I'll go ahead and just show you some of the magazines real quick. And again, this will be free to you. You won't have to purchase it. We're going to be choosing about 10 people at the end of May sometime. This is a recent issue, pretty cool. But I'm going to scroll down here and just show you a few of these. So you'll have the annual print subscription. There's a lot of good information in these, but you can also get the free digital copy. And once you enter your email, you'll get the free digital copy and you'll be entered for the giveaway. So I want to hop on a Zoom call with the 10 people that wins the giveaway, and we'll go over anything. I'll help you set up your Tastywork accounts. I'll explain options versus stocks to you. I'll kind of help you find your niche in the market. Any kind of questions you need answered. I know a little personal 1v1, Zoom call might help a little more than YouTube videos, a little more personal help just to get you started. But that's that. Just click the link down in the description, enter your email. That's all you have to do. And we're going to be choosing about 10 people at the end of this, or at the end of next month. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, got any value out of it, you learned something new, drop a like, let me know, leave a comment if you have any questions, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.